Hello everyone, this is Dimitris Kyriakou, and this is a tutorial on how to add interactive elements on a video. Continuing from the previous tutorial, we have shown how to create interactive exercises using the four options right here. In this video, we will continue with the rest four options, which are slightly more advanced and allow us to add more enhanced interactive elements on our videos. I will start by adding a fill in the blanks type of exercise. Drag and drop it wherever you want on the video. Same settings as before. First thing, you need to specify when you want the exercise to appear. As before, anything that I have added in the previous tutorial has been removed, so I'm starting from scratch. So if you watch the previous video, you won't see those questions appearing in this video. Once again, I'm going to pause the video so the user has time to see that there's a question waiting for it to be answered. Display as a button, and this will be my question 5. All right, although I have eliminated the previous questions, I'm continuing from the previous tutorial. And this is a fill in the blanks type of exercise. So I'm going to call it fill in the blanks question 1. The first type of question for this type of interactive element. And task description is the instruction for the student filling the missing words. And you can see there is a short tutorial here, what we have to do in order to create this type of exercise. So I'm gonna demonstrate it for you. So Nicosia is the capital of, and here I want an empty field for the user to type the answer. And you signify that you want an empty field by adding an asterisk at the front and an asterisk at the end. So right here, the answer is Cyprus. So I mean, you want to say Nicosia is the capital of Cyprus, and you may want to also add a hint for that. It's the country you are currently living in. Right, so that's the first one. I can continue and say London is the capital of, now I'm going to say UK, but also there are many alternative answers. For example, I may want to say England, accepted as a correct answer. So you do that by adding a slash, right? Add a more slash, you can add other acceptable answers as well, all right? And same thing as before, you can add with the two dots, the columns, you can add the tip that you want the student to read before answering. It's very cold most of the year. You close it up with the asterisk. Okay, you can add another text block if you want and continue adding more and more questions. But let's see what we have with this short example. Nothing to do with overall feedback, nothing to do with behavioral settings. Remember, these are overwritten from the first part, right? Which is the part when we set up the video. The retry button and the show solution button should be disabled at this case. So even though they're set to be enabled, we have overwritten this from the general settings. The case sensitive is a useful setting. For example, if someone typed Cyprus with capital letters, do we want to consider that to be a correct answer? If yes, then you untick that. All right, so it's not case sensitive. If you want the answer to be exactly as you have typed it there, then you want that button, that checkbox to be checked. All right, and let's click done and let's go and see it. We're going to go and save and display, and let's see it from the side of the student. So once the student plays the video, When it reaches the 5th second, question 5 will appear. The video is paused. So the student says, okay, I have to do something now. I can either continue the video or I can answer the question. Because here is the capital OFF, and you can see that there is a text box waiting for the student to type the answer. That's the tip that we have provided. All right, and we can say Cyprus here, and we can say, for example, trans. So we have one correct and one wrong answer. There you go. One of the two. There is no retry. There is no show solution buttons there. So the only thing the student can do is continue with the video. If they try to answer it again, they cannot do that because they have already answered it. All right, moving on to the second type of interactive element from the second set of interactive elements, the drag and drop. We have two types of drag and drop. We have this one, which is with an image, and we have this one, which is with a text. Let me demonstrate both of them. First, this one. So I'm going to drag it into the video, and I'm going to say to start on the 10th second, and last once again 5 seconds. And I'm going to pause the video, same thing as before. So this is question 6. And this is a drag and drop on image type of question. So the first thing you have to do here is to add the image, which is click the add, find the image. I'm going to be using this one, and add it into your question. Okay. The second thing you have to do in this step is to go and signify your drop zones and the droppable elements on those drop zones. For example, you pick one of that and you drag it exactly where you want the user to be able to drop something. And I'm going to call that the trees drop zone. Right? So you want that to be 50% opacity. So that means it will be transparent at 50%. If you completely put it at 0, then the student will not know where to drop things around. So you may want to have that transparent at half. You can do whatever you want with that one. And you can specify it can be only one element can be dropped into this zone. So you click done. All right, let's add one more. So pick up the drop zone, and I'm going to pick it up and drop it there. And this is the field label. All right, and I'm going to say 50% once again. It only contains one element. Done. Now, second step is to pick up and set the draggable and droppable elements. So you pick that up, slightly drop it there, and say that this is the trees. And where do you want them to be allowed to be dropped? So you want to select all. So the student can drop them on any of the drop zones, either the trees drop zone or on the field drop zone. And you can have an infinite number of element instances. So in that case, when the student drops it into one, it will also be able to drop it on another one. Let me just come and edit this one because I forgot to name it field drop zone. So that it's same as before. Okay, so I have a trees. I'm gonna, doesn't matter. The width and height doesn't matter. I'm gonna place it on the right-hand side. Again, let me edit it. I have specified that it can be dropped in any of the 2 drop zones. Okay, let me add one more. This is the field. And again, it can be dropped in any of them. But now I'm going to say that there's no infinite number of element instances. There's only one. So in order to see the difference between the previous one. All right, let me just set it to inappropriate width and height. Again, it doesn't matter. Doesn't need too much the width and height of the drop zones. Now, once you do that, you need to go back to your drop zones. You need to go back to them, edit them, and signify which text is allowed to be dropped in them. So in this case, I'm specifying that only the trees is allowed to be dropped here. Click done. Same thing for the fields. You go back to them, edit, and say only the field text can be dropped here. It will be considered as a correct one. Click done. And once we click done, and we go over to save and display, we can see what type of exercise this will produce. So once we reach the 10th second of the video, you see this is the question 5. I will continue with the video. I don't want to answer it at this point. On the 10th, this question 6 appears. The video is paused. You can see drag and drop. This is the 50% opacity I was talking about. So it's semi-transparent. So I can pick up the trees and drop it anywhere I want to. There is infinite instances of this element because I've said it so. Or I can just pick the field and drop it and it goes away because there's only one. Of course, this is wrong, so I need to fix it. So trees go here, field goes here. I click check, you can see I have picked up the points. Continue, goes on with the video. Let's go back to the settings. Let's see the third type of interactive element in this tutorial, which is going to be this one, drag text. I'm going to do this one last. So drag text is the third one, continuing from the drag and drop on the image. So I'm going to pick it up, drop it anywhere on the video, and I'm going to specify once again that the duration of the appearance of this element from the 15th second to the 20th. Pause the video once again. This is question 7. This is a drag text type of question. See, before it was a drag and drop on an image, now it's drag and drop on a text, on a sentence. And you can see the instruction here, drag the words into the correct boxes. You can change it if you want to. And this is the box where you define the question. And this is the short tutorial, same as before, but let's go and do it together. So Nicosia is the capital of, and then you open up the stars and define the answer sideways. If you want, again, you can provide a hint by adding the columns, right? And say, which country are you living in? So you have them out. You can continue by adding Paris is the capital of, you can say, France. This is the correct answer. So what it will do, it will mix up those answers into drag and drop elements in the sentences. Let's see about that. So we click done, and we move on to save and display. And we'll now, once we start playing the recording, you will see that once it reaches the 15th second, how the question appears and behaves. You can see, by the way, here you have 3 dots signifying the location of the questions to the student, but they cannot jump to any point of it. We have disabled that in a previous video. So question 7, there you are. Okay, so you have Nicosia as the capital of, and they can drag and drop any one of them in any of the boxes. And you also have the tip that you have added when you created the question. So once you add that, check, get the points, the student gets to continue to the next question. Last but not least, we have the interaction of mark the words. So I'm going to drop that into video. Let's say that we start from the 20th to the 25th second. Pause the video once again. This is question 8. This is a type of mark the words type of question. It's my first of this type. And the description is select all cities of Cyprus. So you define the instruction to the students, and then below you define the answers. Now, you can list any entries, but only the ones that in stars are considered to be correct ones. So, for example, I can say Nicosia, right? So this is a correct one. I can say Paris. So I'm not going to place it in a star, in stars. Therefore, it's not correct. I'm going to have Limassol, and I'm also going to have Rome. Okay, so that signifies only Nicosia and Limassol are correct, but the user can select all 4 of them. So we click done. We go on to save and display. And once we get to the 20th second of the video, we will see the relevant question. So this is question 5. Question 6 appearing. I'm clicking play so that it continues to the next one. On the 15th second, the 7th question appears. If I click play, the 6th one goes away. And then on the 20th second of the video, question 8 appears. And this is the type of exercise. Select all cities of Cyprus. So I can select all of them if I want to. So I just click one and select them, click again and it unselects them. Right, so if I check that, you see I have +1, -1 point. I cannot retry it or check the solution. All I have to do is continue. Okay. Now, the part that we did not see together is that where are these being set up? I mean, how can I see the progress of the students? What have they answered? What have they done? From the grades, if you click on grades on the left-hand side, you will see your students here, all participants. Currently, I'm the only one. And you will see all your activities here, I mean all your educational activities, in this case are interactive videos. And when you click the button, you will see the appropriate submissions. But what we have left for us is that the student, in order for them to submit their answers to the questions, so let's see, they answered, they are starting the video again, and they are going to fill it up again. So I got full points here. I'm moving on to question 6, which I'm going to answer correctly again. I'm moving on to question 7, which I'm going to answer incorrectly or partially. No, incorrectly, the whole thing, only have 2 of them. And I'm also moving on to the last question, which I'm going to answer correctly. Right, so what we have now is that the student has answered all questions, but they need to submit their answers. In order to submit their answers, they need to reach at the end of the video. Okay, so We don't have that at the moment. I'm going to go and enable it and show it again. Or we can add inside the video a certain point where they could click on it and submit their answers at that point. Let me demonstrate that first. So remember that we have set up 4 questions in this video, and all of them are completed on the 25th second of the video. So if I want, I can come in on the 31st second of the video, and I can click on that star, which will add at this certain screen, at this certain point of time in the video, a submit screen on the 31st second of the video. So that means that the user, the student, can submit their answers on the 31st second of the video, or they can wait up until at the end in order to submit their answers. I'm going to demonstrate that by also going to the first step, and in behavioral settings, I'm going to uncheck the option for prevent skipping. Therefore, the student can drag and drop the navigation bar to go forward and backwards. Okay, so what I'm going to do is save and display, and we're going to go through the activity again. So before I didn't get a grade, let's see what will happen now. You can see now that I can jump to the end and submit my answers here. See, I can click that. And it says 0 questions answer you cannot submit right now, but this is the type of screen they're going to get. So let me go on and answer again the questions, same as before. Cyprus. And this is UK. Correct answer. See, 1 answered. If I click that now, I can submit my answers, which is only question 5. I don't want to do that right now, so let me continue. Question 6. I'm going to drag and drop at the correct location. You can see I got the points to answer. If I click that, I can now submit my answers on 2 questions. I can see the results here. Don't want to do that yet. As we move on, question 7 appears. Let's have that incorrectly answered. So we get 0 points, but it is recorded in my record. And once we get to question 8, let's answer that slightly incorrectly. So I'm getting 1 point out of 2, 2 correct, 1 incorrect. Therefore now, if I move on to the mark of 31 seconds in the video, you will see that I will get the submission screen. So I can now, if I want, submit the answers up to this point. So if there are more questions later on, I can answer them. But right now, if I want, I can submit those 4 questions. And I can just close the window here and continue with the video. If there are more questions coming up, then I can add another stop point anywhere in the video. Or at the end, I can just click on that, and at the end of the video, I can click that. Anyway, it will come up automatically and submit the remaining questions for marking. A reminder, the navigation bar needs to be enabled in order for that to appear. Otherwise, you need to add inside the video certain points where the student can submit their answers. So now, if I go to settings, I can click on grades, and I can see all participants, and I can see their answers. See, So interactive video, click on that, and I can see how the student Dimitris Kyriakou in this case has answered the questions. All of them correct, all of them incorrect, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's the completion of this video. Let me point out once again, how do we add? So inside the interactive video, we go on to edit settings, okay, on a certain timestamp in the video. So let's say you are there. You can click the star and you can add a submit screen at this certain point in the video. All right, that concludes the tutorial with regards to the more advanced interactive elements for adding exercises in the video. Thank you very much.